this morning we're going to be talking about why ambition isn't enough. So why is it the excitement about your goals or even the drive that you have isn't going to be enough to be able to get to the level of success that you desire? So come on in, guys. And my name is Alicia Perkins, and I help leaders increase their impact, income, and their influence. And so definitely excited to talk with you guys this morning about this, because I'm just having a few conversations and I'm seeing people are excited about what the career could look like, and they think that excitement, it just stops there, but it doesn't. So I definitely want to give you guys some few ingredients that's going to allow you to show you what you need to mix with that ambition, right? And especially, I've been making a lot of content that's just, I believe, really helpful and really trying to shift a lot of perspectives, especially in the time that we are in now, because the workforce is changing, the job market is changing, and mindsets and perspectives that you may have had at one time worked, but they don't work anymore. And so it's going to be really important for you guys to get fresh information. Also, I do go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Standard Time. And if you cannot catch the whole live stream, you can catch all of my replays on YouTube. So go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel on YouTube at I Am Alicia Perkins. So let's go ahead and get started. And I want to talk about why having ambition only isn't enough, right? And before I talk about that, I do want to talk a little bit about the downside of ambition and kind of what risks are involved in that. I think we are in a society where people can be like overly ambitious. Not saying that it's like a bad thing to have a desire to, reach your goals and succeed. I think it's great to work towards something, but I definitely believe that we are in a society to where people are overly ambitious, and it's draining them, and it's making them burn out, and it's making them really forget about the things in life that are really important, right? Not saying that your career goals are not important, but there are just some things in life that are more important than just succeeding in your career. So, I'm not saying that it's bad to be ambitious. It's just being overly ambitious can actually have an opposite effect on the success that you want. And so when we're talking about you just being able to run off of, hey, TikTok, good morning, being able to run just off of ambition, right? And let me say this, if you find yourself a ambitious person, if you like, I am very career focused, and you have a deep desire to reach your goals, you're like, I really ain't that ambitious, this live stream is still going to help you. Because when we're talking about being ambitious in your career and having a drive to succeed, it's being ambitious, it really does just mean, you have a strong desire to succeed, right? But the thing about being ambitious is that it doesn't just help you sustain. Like having ambition will allow you to have that spark to get started, but ambition alone is not going to keep you consistent. And I don't think that people realize that, right? Because, when you get to a point in your career where you desire to do something else, like you'll feel that excitement at first, right? Or when that initial thought comes in your mind and you want to maybe change careers or advance or whatever that looks like, you'll start finding yourself being a little bit excited. But as those trials of life come and just certain hardships or roadblocks that you may have to face start coming, you'll notice that ambition may shrink. Or even if you are one that maybe deals with self-doubt or not being able to kind of, sometimes there's fear that you're having to fight, you'll also notice that ambition will shrink, right, when that fear starts to arise. And so that's why ambition, don't just lean on that, right? And so when you're, like I was saying before, when you're only ambitious, right, and you don't have those other key things that I'll discuss in a few minutes, you will find yourself burnt out, right? Because what tends to happen is when you are just driven only on, I gotta hit these goals, you'll find yourself not even a place where you even desire to take care of yourself. Like you having a mind to think about you having to think well and be well and feel well, that won't even be there, because you'll find yourself in this mode to where like, look, I just got to hit these goals. And I've tended to see that people that are like overly ambitious, they will forget about self-care and they won't even think about themselves, and they find themselves in grind mode. I don't know about y'all, but I've been in times of my life where you just get to a point where you're tired of just grinding. Right? If you're like, child, I don't want to grind. I'm not trying to hustle for nothing, because it's just draining, right? You start feeling like you got to exert all of you in order to get to where you want to be. But that's what happens when you're only operating off of just ambition. You will literally drive yourself into the ground, right? And it can sometimes even cause you to really just separate yourself from your family and your loved ones, because you feel like all I got to do is just grind, right? And so, when you are trying to reach your goals, you need to be seeking out help and support. But when you're only running off of ambition, you won't even be worried about that. Because the only focus is hitting the goal, right? And so you'll find yourself starting to even not give those important relationships, whether that's with your family or God, or even the relationship with yourself, the time that it needs, because you're just on this grind. No, you are too seasoned in your career to feel like you need to still be in grind mode, right? You're too seasoned. You have too much experience. You have too much of an expertise to be in grind mode, right? You need to be in a mode to where you are trying to reap off of what you've already done and the things that you have already sown. But that's going to seem impossible to you to even think like that. If you keep thinking that the only way that I can get to where I want to be is I just got to grind this thing out. We're not grinding no more, right? We will start in the first key thing that you need besides ambition is strategic thinking. Right? When you start thinking with strategy, not emotion, but when you start to get clear and get strategic and mix that with ambition, you'll find yourself being able to work smarter, not harder, right? And you'll be more intentional about the things that you want. When a lot of people, you will struggle with that. And the way that you can tell that you lack strategy in your career, if you're one that you're just hopping from task to task, if you feel overwhelmed with your career. And I'm not saying that you won't have days at work where like child work is working, right? But you should not feel a sense of overwhelm. You should not feel overwhelmed with your career overall. But when you start to feel overwhelmed with your career overall, I can guarantee you it's because you lack a career strategy, right? It's just kind of, you find yourself in a place to where you just start to accept opportunities, right? Hoping that they fall right. I just hope that this goes right. And you're not going into these things with a clear goal and a clear strategy. And it's so important to have a strategy in your career, because you got to be able to make sure that the moves that you make, they will serve you, right? But if you're not thinking with strategy, if you're not thinking about what could be next for you, if you're not thinking about your expectations and your needs, you will always get the short end of the stick. And this is why it's really important that you don't just have ambition, but you also think about what is the strategy that I need in my career to make sure that I'm not out here wasting my time or losing money, right? And so when you think about a career strategy, what you're thinking about is it's a few concepts that make up a complete career strategy. And I wrote these down because I wanted to be sure that I didn't leave anything out. It's about goals, you being able to define your goals, about you being able to identify your weaknesses and your strengths, and you being able to know your skill gaps, right? So I guess if I can sum that all up into one, I would say self-assessment is huge. And you being able to have an effective career strategy is you being able to assess yourself and know where you are. Again, knowing what those career goals are, being able to know what are those strengths and your weak areas, and also being able to know where are those skill gaps, right? That's one part of your strategy. The other part is market. Do you know the current market of your field, right? And it's so important because you have to be able to know, is the field that you're in dying out, right? Or is the field that you're in, is it starting to excel, right? Meaning if that field is starting to grow and expand, right, you could be missing out on great opportunities in your field if you don't know the market. Being able to know the market is going to be able to help you to know, are you being paid as you should be in the current market? Right. It'll also help you to know if there are certain skills that you need to learn to keep up with the field that you're in, right? So that's a strategy. Another part of your career strategy is branding. So we are talking about your resume and your page on LinkedIn, but we're also talking about how you show up at work. How are you showing up in the workplace? How are you able to express the value that you have? How are you able to share ideas and things of that sort? So that's another part of your strategy. The other part of that is job searching, right? Another part of your career strategy also is professional development, which a lot of the people that I meet don't even think about them growing as a person, right? Because you can get very caught up in how am I able to grow in my career, right? But how you grow in your career is how you grow as a person. You know, I say all the time that you can only grow as far, no, you can only go as far as you grow. I say it all the time. You can only go as far as you grow, right? And so you can find yourself in a place where like, I have all of the hard skills that I need. I did this course online. I did that. But you as a person has not grown. And so you need to be able to have a strategy for that, to be sure, right, that you're not just running off of excitement, but you also have a plan in place. And then another aspect of your career that you should be having a strategy for is financial planning, looking at how much you make, being able to sit down and look at your goals and see, okay, if I stay on this track, meaning if I keep this job, if I keep this pay, will this role, right? Will this amount that I am being paid allow me to be able to reach the goals in my life that I should be, right? And so all of this, right? All of this should be one big career strategy. And don't let it sound like, oh, child, that's a lot. No, it's not a lot. Because for one, you're not thinking about these things all the time, right? Because look at your car, right? Our cars have like so many different parts. And y'all share this with a friend, okay? You need to hear this. Our cars have so many different parts, right? But once we get in the car and we turn that car on, we're not thinking about all of those small parts and things that will make that car run. No, right? Because we know, okay, whatever is in this car is what this car needs, right? And so every time I turn my key, well, I don't turn my key, every time I hit that button, I'm not thinking, okay, you know, in order for this car to start, this had to do that. I don't even think about it. I just get in the car and go. But we know that as you keep your car, you do need to do maintenance. And so when I'm thinking about, okay, it's time for an actual oil change, I get the oil change. When I know that it's time to get new tires, I get new tires. When I'm thinking about it's time to get gas, right? When I'm thinking about it's time to get some new wipers, right? So as things come up, I address these things. And so don't let a career strategy overwhelm you and thinking, ooh, that's a lot to deal with. It's not a lot to deal with because you just address these things as you come. So for instance, if you are looking to advance in your role, right, you know, okay, the part that I need to kind of probably lean in on right now is self-assessment. I need to start seeing, okay, am I clear on my goals? You know, am I aware of the gaps that I have, right? So I know that I want this position, but I need to sit down and really assess this part of my strategy to make sure that I have all of these gaps filled. So it's the kind of thing where you kind of think about it and you plan as you go. But what happens when you know that you've been needing some new tires and you know that you 2,000 miles past your oil change? And trust me, I've been there because I do not know anything about cars. So I'm not judging you, Fred. I promise I've been there, right? Or you riding on E. What can happen, right, is all of this stuff can break down at the same time. And when all of this stuff breaks down at the same time, you will get overwhelmed, right? I just told somebody this morning, I said, when you are able to maintain something, it is cheaper than a repair. I'm going to say it again. Maintenance is cheaper than repair. And I want you to think about that when it comes to your career. If you can learn how to manage your career, right? If you can learn how to gauge your career, if you can learn how to keep an eye on things, right? When you want to make a move, you're not going to feel like you're starting over every time. And this is what happens when you right, want to do something new in your career, you'll start feeling like, oh, child, I got to start all over again because you haven't been managing your career. But when you manage your career and you keep your eyes gauged on these things, right, when you want to make a move, you can feel excited because you are already aware of everything that is there, instead of you feeling like, oh, child, this is going to be a lot of work. No, right? Because you are in a habit of managing your career and being able to maintain it. And this is what happens when people will land amazing opportunities, but they either can't keep those opportunities or they cannot advance past those opportunities because the focus was just on, I got to get the job, meaning that first drive, right? Which is what I'm talking about, why ambition isn't enough. That first feeling of, oh, I got to get the job. That's all they really thought about. That's all they planned for, was just getting the job. And they did not plan for what happens after you get the job, right? You don't plan for, how am I able to succeed in this role? How am I able to make sure that I set boundaries? How am I able to make sure that I'm able to ask for the things that I need? How am I able to make sure that as I advance in my role, that my income will continue to match my impact, right? And so all of this is like in career management, right? And so nothing wrong with you being ambitious, right? But ambition only gets you in the door. What keeps you there and what allows you to thrive there and continue to grow there is going to be strategic thinking, as you thinking about. Right? That's all that strategy is. What needs to be in place to make sure that as I serve in my career, I am being served too, because you are supposed to be serving in your career. You should feel some excitement when you are able to serve with your expertise and your skills and you're able to solve problems. You should be excited about that, right? But you also need to be excited that your career serves you back, meaning that it's going to give you what you put in it and more, right? The next thing that you need besides ambition, because I'm not saying you don't need ambition, I'm saying what you need to kind of mix in that pot with it, is consistency. Again, ambition will only get you started, but ambition alone does not get you the results you want in your career. It is going to allow you to kind of hang on in there, right? And I know you guys have heard it, like, experience is not everything. It's not, right? Experience alone does not get you the job. It doesn't, right? And you being able to be consistent, being consistent in your career can uphold you when your talent doesn't, right? When you maybe don't have everything that you need, right? But being consistent, knowing how to still show up, right? Knowing how to still push through hard times, knowing how to, when tough times at work are happening and when folks is acting a fool on your job and you like, I'm going to be consistent in my integrity, right? I will not shut down. I will not respond to you the way that you respond to me. Being consistent in your character, right, will allow you to succeed faster in your career than in your skills. Because I don't know if y'all noticed in 2023, baby, people is lacking integrity. People is lacking character. Like, it's very shocking the amount of things that people will do in order to succeed, right? So having integrity alone will make you stand out, right? So I want you guys to start to mix a little bit of that with ambition. Let's mix some consistency in there. And you don't understand how being consistent is going to help your confidence. Sometimes you can find it hard to be consistent, but you have to know that sometimes you being consistent is not just about it's not just about you being able to hit the goal. Being consistent also, it can show you that you show up for you, right? People will struggle with confidence because they don't show up for themselves. But if you can be consistent in showing up for yourself, if you can be consistent in showing up for your goals and doing what you know that the work that it's going to take to reach your goals, you'll be surprised how much more confidence you have in yourself. But you'll lack confidence if you always give up on yourself. So being consistent and you being able to show up for you and you being able to know, okay, I will pursue those things that I need. I will pursue my expectations, right? Doing that alone is going to allow you to start believing that you are worth the work. It is going to allow you to start to believe, right, that you are worth the risk and all of this sometimes trouble that you have to fight through. You're worth it. Right. And so being consistent is not just a cute word, but it allows you to build up that self-belief to understand that, hey, I know that times are hard right now. Right. But I also know that I have to continue to show up for me, because I don't want to train myself to believe that I am easy to give up on. This is what you do when you have these great, amazing goals and ideas and dreams, and you don't follow through with them. You train yourself to believe that you're not worth it. Right. You train yourself to believe that you don't have to fight for you, right? And so as you're seeking to advance in your career, I also want you to know that another thing that you need to like mix in that pot. Hey, Isis, another thing you need to mix in that pot, friend, is alignment. Mix as you are driving and seeking success in your career, my friend, mix some alignment in there. Let's be sure that what we are trying to pursue is in alignment with the life that we want. It's in alignment with our character, that it's in alignment, right, with the dreams that we have. Because there's nothing worse than you pursuing something and going all in something that will only take you away from the life that you say that you want, right? There's nothing worse than you putting in energy, sweat, tears, and blood into something that is not going to give you the reward back that you think. And this is why I say, like, sometimes when you are overly ambitious, I think it's a dangerous thing, because for one, you may be in a point in your career where you be like, I'm good. I don't have any big goals right now. I mean, there's some stuff in the pipeline, but as far as right now, and guess what? That's okay. It's okay to be at a season in your life where you're like, I'm not trying to attract anything. I'm not trying to hunt anything down. I'm not trying to, move into something more. There are just seasons in your career, in your life, where you be like, child, I just want to be right now. Now, I'm not saying be that way when you don't need to be that way, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to be in foolishness. I don't want you just to be, right, in these environments that ain't serving you. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about when things are going well and good, right? Where that like Alicia, there are some goals on my board up there. And my eye is on these goals, but you don't have to always be in this season of get. I told y'all we gonna move out of this. I gotta grind. We ain't grinding no more, right? What we will do is plant and wait for the harvest, right? What we will do is plant and sow and wait to reap, right? That's what we will do, right? And so, you can find yourself in a season in your career where you're okay, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get overly ambitious, you feel like you have to keep on trying to achieve. And that's where you get your fulfillment from. It's from achievement. Be proud of your achievements, but do not get your fulfillment from them, because there also will be seasons in your career where, child, things just ain't going right. Like, you're not on your game as you used to be, because, child, lives. You got issues going on at home. Sometimes you may experience health issues. Sometimes you just may be like, look, this season is just a season where I need to be restored. I need to be healed. This is a season where I'm trying to fill my cup. And you may not see the achievements rack up as they usually do. And guess what? That's okay. But when you're overly ambitious, you'll start feeling like there's something wrong with you. And you will sacrifice your health. You will sacrifice your family, which you should be spending time with them in this season, but you will sacrifice them to go out and achieve just so you can feel good about yourself. I want you to feel good about yourself if you're not hitting no goals. If you are in a season where you are wanting to pour into you, right? If you're in a season where you're like, there are some things in me that I need to work on, I need you to feel good about yourself in seasons where the focus is on you and it's not on you having to achieve certain goals. I need you to feel good in those seasons. I need you to feel validated in the seasons where you might not be on your game. Feel validated in that. Not saying that you, and don't always feel like you are slacking. Sometimes we need to rest. Okay. Sometimes you need to say no to those extra assignments at work. Sometimes you need to sit back and reflect on what you've already done, on what you've already accomplished, instead of being in a rush to accomplish more when you don't even value what you've already accomplished. And this is where that imposter syndrome stuff comes from, where you're always looking to do, always looking to achieve, always looking to hit everybody else's expectations. You have not yet sat down and look at how far you've already come. Look at what you've already overcome. Looking at all of the obstacles you've already hit, all the successes, all the receipts, everything that you've already done, right? Sitting back and looking at that and reflecting and giving God some praise, right? And not being on this hamster wheel of what's next. What's next for you, my friend, is rest. When I'm talking about rest, I'm not talking about, taking a nap. Though naps are good, right? The rest I'm talking about, sometimes you need to just rest in your mind and stop thinking so much, right? So we're talking about ambition. This is all career. This is still all career. This is all career still. Now you can definitely go and apply this in your life too. Absolutely. Right. But ambition is not going to give you the fulfillment that you think it is. You being able to check goals off. But that's the thing. And if you are in the middle of a season when you're like, Alicia, I'm focused on my goals, friend, I'm with you. I think that's an exciting thing, right? So this is not to say that if you are in the process of trying to achieve goals, nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? But what I am saying is being able to know, even if you are in a season where you don't want to hit any goals now, where it's just like, I really want to be able to sustain what I have, or even perfect what I have. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. Right? Because sometimes in your resting season, sometimes, like I said, it's not about a nap. Sometimes that rest could be like, let me just sit down and just catch up with me. Like I have clients who come to me not because they are in a rush to find a job. I have clients that come to me because they're like, look, it's time for me to really sit down and like reevaluate some things. They're not looking for a job. They're like, it's time to like refocus some things and really see where I am, right? And let's have a plan for me. So when I am ready to move and to run, I already have what I need. But it's something like, I just need to get back to what I want. But I'm not sure what that is. So sometimes even in your seasons of rest, it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. Sometimes in your seasons of rest, you're like, I'm serving me right now. This season is about me, right? And so if you guys are enjoying this, I definitely want to be sure that I am serving you guys. And so also so far what we talked about is the things that you need outside of being ambitious. I said you need strategic thinking. You need to be consistent. You need alignment, right? And what else you need is the power to adapt. I need you to adapt. Friend, you got to be able to be pliable, okay? I need you to understand that being able to adapt is like one of the core factors in your career success. Look around. The way of the world is changing, and guess what? It's changing so fast, y'all. It's changing so fast. Am I happy with all the changes? No. Right? Do I agree with all the changes? No. But do I have to adapt to the changes? Yes. Right? And you can't be so stuck in your ways that you feel like, well, it is what it is, and I'm not doing all that. And the same people who say I'm not doing all that will be the same ones that will be left behind. Now, guarantee, I'm not saying to go and chase after every trend, every new thing that pops up on the scene, right? What I am talking about is when you're talking about your career and how you're wanting to advance in it, and then you see things are changing, and you see that change is going to be a requirement, I need you to lean into that. I need you to lean into that, right? Because if you don't lean into being able to adapt and being able to just look at things with a different perspective, right? It will hinder your growth and your income, right? And if you struggle with being able to come out of your comfort zone, you struggle with being able to adapt, right? That's like a huge sign, right? Is when you don't want to come out of your comfort zone. And, for some people, not wanting to come out of their comfort zone it is because of fear sometimes, right? But another thing I've noticed that people don't want to come out of their comfort zone is because they don't want to look wrong, right? Especially if you have maybe like spoke against certain things, and now you realize it's time to lean in on that thing that you said that you weren't gonna do, so a lot of times you may not want to adapt because you don't want to look like your way don't work. That's called pride, and we don't have time for that. Right? I want you to know and understand that if you have to change a perspective that you've held on for so long, right? It doesn't take anything from you. I own a business. I've been on a business full time for almost 4 years now. Y'all, there's some stuff I said I never would do. And y'all, this stuff is not like bad stuff. It's just stuff that you be like, I don't want to do that, right? But as the world of online business is changing and the way that, just people are changing, I found myself having to adjust to certain things, right? But it doesn't make me feel like, oh, I was wrong, because it does not mean that way it didn't work at all. No, it just doesn't work anymore. It once did work, but it doesn't work anymore, right? And so I want you guys to realize if you do have to change a perspective about your career that you once held on so tightly to, right? It doesn't take anything from you. And the reason why I say it doesn't take anything from me is because I don't put my value of myself into my ideas, right? Meaning that, because sometimes you can tie your self-worth into how you think, right? Meaning that because you think this way and, you are very whatever in how you think, if you have to shift a mindset, you start feeling like, okay, so if I was wrong about this, then what if I'm wrong about, no, you start feeling like if I was wrong about that, then what if I'm wrong about this? And it's not about being wrong. It's about, does it still work? Because you could very well have been right at one point, but is your perspective currently serving you? That perspective once served you, but is it still serving you? Right? Talk about all the time. When you just starting off in your career, you understand, I got to get my foot in the door, right? I have to find a way to build up my experience and my skill set. So you'll find yourself having to bend or maybe accept opportunities that you're not 100% excited about because you need to get your foot in the door. You need to get your hands dirty, right? You have to do that. But my friend, you in year 10 of your career, why are you still thinking like that? And guess what? That mindset of, hey, whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it well. It served you at one point. It got you some success at one point. That was how you was able to build up the receipts that you have now, by going all in, ignoring your boundaries, right? Ignoring the red flags, right? So it got you a little bit of success. But friend, you in year 10 of your career. You going on 15 years now. That perspective don't serve you no more, right? At one point you say, okay, I need to just do what I need to do to just get this job, whatever, Okay, cool. You fresh meat, but you're not fresh meat no more. You thinking like that, thinking that the only way that I can be on top is if I ignore me. That's not that perspective don't serve you no more. It's hurting you. It's hurting your paycheck, right? And so get to a point in your career where some perspectives gonna have to shift. It was at one point where you was like, I'll do it all. But now that you are in a leadership position, you got to learn how to delegate. So that perspective of you once being the go-to person, that's not serving you no more. Your team is not able to establish respect with you, right? Your team is getting frustrated with you. Your team is not able to thrive as they should be because you are in all the details. You in all the details. You in everybody's business except yours, right? And so that's not serving you anymore. If anything, that is hindering your growth. It is not allowing you to thrive as the leader that you really are. So being able to shift perspectives in your career is crucial. Anytime you are either you feel stuck, you are currently underpaid, you are having an itch to do something new, you're feeling bored, all of that is key signs. Is time a current perspective that I have is not serving me. I need to find out what perspective do I need to shift, right? Because how you think is going to determine the actions that you take. And this is why you can sometimes see in your career, you be like, child, I feel like I've been all over the place. You've been all over the place because your mind been all over the place, right? You haven't gotten clear on you or what you want. So yeah, you're going to feel all over the place, my friend, because you're not clear, right? So I'm going to say it again. Your thoughts drives your actions. And so think about if you are feeling stuck in your career, you don't know, or you whatever, think about what is the perspective that I have in my career? Like how am I viewing my career? What am I thinking my career is supposed to be? Right? And being able to set the right expectations on your career and what you want in this season. Right? And own it. Stop thinking, oh, I want this, but I could be wrong. Own it, right? Because you can only commit to something that you own, right? You can only fully commit to something that you truly believe in and that you own. And so I don't want you guys to keep thinking, oh my God, this thing may not go now. Stop doing that to yourself, right? It's so important to shift the perspectives that you have and start thinking about, okay, has my mind advanced as my jobs has, right? Meaning that as you have advanced in your career, has your way of thinking advanced, right? And then this is an example, you see people all the time will get married. They had a wedding, they got rings on their fingers, they live in the same house, they married, then change their last name and everything, and will go around boldly saying that they are married. But their way of thinking, they not thinking like they married. They not thinking as a husband or a wife should think. They still thinking like when it was just them. So though you see all of the outside proof and the evidence that they now have a husband or a wife, their way of thinking has not changed. They still thinking, I don't have to now let me stop because I'm gonna make some of y'all mad in here, but you start thinking, I don't have to explain myself to nobody. Then what are you doing being a wife? Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop because y'all. I don't need y'all upset with me this morning. I don't need y'all upset. I'm done with that example. Okay, but so that's why and you can find yourself on the outside, right? Having all of the proof on the outside that you are advancing, and this is what happens when people advancing their career and they get the job titles and the pay and all that stuff. But at work, child, you can't. You going through at work. You going through at work. Going through. Can't handle conflict. Can't handle when somebody don't agree with you. Can't handle when you feel like somebody don't like you. Can't handle when you got an idea and it's not received. You can't handle none of that. Though you got the job title of director and VP and you got the fancy job title and the pay, the outside you're looking real good, but on the inside, havoc is being Correct. Because as you got into that director position, as you got into that VP position, this did not change. Just as you was insecure and I don't know what they're going to think about me, just as you was like that in that specialist role, you'll find yourself in the same way in that VP role, because this did not change. And you start feeling like, why is it that I can't influence the people that I work with? Why is it that I just can't seem to gain the respect of the people that I work with? I feel like I can't really connect with the people on my team, because this didn't change, right? And this goes back to being able to maintain and manage your career. Because so much more than just getting a job. But that's what people think about the most. Finding a job. And then after that, you're done thinking about you. Well, not even that, because sometimes in your job search, you may not even be thinking about yourself in your job search. It may just be, I'll be whatever y'all need me to be. Just hire me, please. Just hire me. I'll say whatever I have to say. Just hire me. You don't realize when you do that to yourself, you tell yourself that what you want is not important, right? And so your career goes past ambition. Your career goes past a job search, right? Your career goes past your successes. Your career goes past what you do for other people, right? It goes past that fancy degree. But your career should be a tool that's going to allow you to live the life that you want. So how much more should we put time into thinking about this, into planning this out, into being intentional? This thing that takes you away from your family 40, 50 hours a week, this thing that takes you away from yourself, right? So how much more intentional should you be about your career? Because it is not everything, but it affects everything. It affects how you treat your husband when you come home. It affects how you are with your kids. If you have enough energy to spend time with your kids, or if you're even in the right mindset, it affects all of that, right? So it ain't just about a job search, my friend. And it's not just about ambition. It's not just about hitting goals, especially if you're hitting goals that you don't really care about, right? And I'm all about holistic success. I'm all about all of you thriving, not just that word. I'm about all of you thriving, because there is nothing worse than you can be at work and you can get all the applause at work, but when you get home, you don't hear any applause at home, because you haven't had the opportunity to pour into your household, because your career and your job sucks everything out of you. You deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. You deserve the kind of career where you can show up at work and thrive. You can show up at home and thrive. You can show up in a room all by yourself and you can show up for you and you can thrive. You deserve that. And you being able to even picture that in your mind, that should not be far-fetched. It shouldn't be a far-fetched. It should not be a fantasy for you to believe that you can have it all. When I say have it all, meaning that you can be successful in your career, that you can be successful with in your household, that you can have a successful relationship with the Lord. Like that should not be a far-fetched thing. But I know that when you've been in environments that make you feel like your success is all about everybody else except you, you'll feel like, I have to choose, Alicia. I have to choose. And this is why I'm not for work-life balance. It's work-life alignment. Because there will be seasons in your career where you may be busy at work. You may have a special project. You may have to spend a little bit more time at work in this season. But a season is not a way of life. So in your busy season at work, your home life can still thrive because you've had time to pour into your home life. And so even in your busy season at work, you're still thriving at home because you've always been able to show up for your family. They understand in your busy season, mama gonna be back, because they know that this is not a way of life for them to be ignored, to be pushed aside. Baby, this is for a season. They're gonna know mama's gonna come back. right? But again, if you just run it off of drive and I gotta get this job and I have to get this job title and I have to, no, you have to be able to sit down and think and become intentional. Start realizing you only got one life to live. And I believe that God did not create us to just hit goals. I believe that God did not just create us to be a machine that we just pump out results for everybody else. I just do not believe that. I don't. Though they may be small aspects of our life, I don't believe that God has created us to where we just keep serving, and we serve nothing for ourselves. I just don't believe that. I do not believe that God has, the only reason he created me was to go and make somebody else successful. I just don't believe that, right? So I want you guys to start thinking, right? Thinking about your career. Thinking past ambition. Don't just think, what is it that I need to do to overcome this imposter syndrome, right? Because you could just be so focused on what I need to do to overcome this different emotion I'm feeling. It goes past you feeling good. It goes past you feeling excited about your career. It goes past you it goes past that. It's about, am I shaping my career in a way that is going to serve me? Right? And so I want you guys to start to think about that in your career, right? Are you just running off of ambition? Start thinking about, and really, really, really think about this. Am I trying to prove something in my career? Because a lot of people are trying to prove something. You have certain people that they want to do certain things and they're like, I can't do that because is based upon what they think other people will think. Right? Because if I do this, it's going to look like I took a step back. We're not going to base our careers based upon what is acceptable to other people, because you're the one who has to get up every day and go to work. You are, right? You know what you need. And so I don't want your career, and this is why people struggle with being able to make a decision in their career, because they're like, what if I make the wrong choice? There's no right or wrong choice. It's what you want, right? And so I want to provoke you guys to become not ambitious about hitting a goal, but become ambitious about allowing your career to serve you, right? And if this is something that you guys need help with, if you are feeling like you are tired of just running on drive and you don't have a clear strategy and you're not clear on what you want, or you are clear on what you want, but you may not have a plan for it, let's talk. This is what I help my clients with. I help them to reinvent their careers, to reimagine their careers, to rediscover their careers. Because what may once work may not work anymore. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that, right? So if you need help being able to get to a place where, like, I want to be in alignment, I want my impact and my income to match, right? Let's talk. You're able to work with me one-to-one. I have a service called The Next You, right? So if you need help with being able to, again, to really plan out a career that's going to serve you, you are able to work with me in my program called the Next You. Okay, so in this particular program, it is a mix of career advancement and alignment, and also leadership as well, right? And so it's if you're wanting to thrive on your own terms and define your own level of success, let's set up a call. Okay, you are able to schedule a free strategy call with me, so we are able to identify what are those gaps that you have right now. Right. And so you can go and have a call schedule with me at aliciaperkins.me/discovery. It's aliciaperkins.me/discovery. If you go in my link in bio, it's there as well too. But if you're one that you are just wanting to just do career management, you just want to be sure that you are staying on top of stuff, right? You can also join my group at any time. That's called the bestyou.me, right? excuse me, no, the group is called The Best You. If you want to enroll, you can go to thebestyou.me. With this group, is going to allow you to also be able to make sure that you have a solid strategy in your career, that you are able to build a career that is going to allow you to achieve the success, not just in your career, but in your life as well. And so this group is more like for like a career management style piece. In this group, there is all kind of content that you can go in there and learn and really binge, and it is self-paced, and you still get access to me in this group as well. So, you know, there are resources available for you out there. So, you know, anytime you might start feeling like, I feel stuck, I don't know, I'm not sure, right? That stuck feeling means two things. It means that you have now gotten into a place in your career where a shift has happened and it no longer serves you, right? And also, it can mean that you need help, right? You don't have to struggle alone. You don't have to figure out everything alone. You don't have to wait until everything drops off in the whole depths of hell before you ask for help. You can be proactive about getting help and getting support. Like I said, sometimes you just need another perspective. Sometimes you just need to be able to see what other options are out there for you. So if you want to be able to get support from me, whether that is one-to-one or in my group, let's talk and let's chat so we can talk about which one is going to be the best fit for you. And I think I have a few slots for strategy calls left for tomorrow, I believe. But if you do want to schedule a call with me, go ahead and go in the link in the bio. Now let's get to some of these questions. I know I saw a few questions. Let's start over here. I love feedback. If you guys had any aha moments, go ahead and, I sent an invite to somebody. Girl, I'm so sorry. That was an accident. I thought I saw one that says something about imposter syndrome. I think I saw earlier. You said I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. Owning it is so difficult for me, right? And it can be hard to like own something, like if you do have goals that you want to hit, or you do have, just different dreams and stuff, or if there is a shift or a move that you want to make in your career, it can be hard to own it, right? But people have a problem with owning it because they're in fear that it could be the wrong choice. Or they're thinking like, well, what if this doesn't go right? And so that's where that fear of being able to own something comes from, is because you keep thinking, what if I'm wrong, right? And so how you move away from that, right? It's not about being wrong or right. It's about what it is that you want. And so, if people kind of look at their careers more as a way to explore things, right? Meaning that you get to change your mind anytime you want to. And you don't have to explain that to anybody. And so, but I know that everybody is stuck on their path, that it has to look like this, right? No, child, girl, talk about your career. Sometimes it looks like this. How many know, even though your career can look like this, it don't mean you failing. A lot of times it means that you just stepping out for you. You're just betting on yourself. It ain't nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. When you think that you want something, you say, hey, I'm ready to see what this looks like, right? Vanessa said, I struggle with getting the position I know I am qualified for, just because I don't have the title they're looking for in my resume. I have the skills. I just need to be given the opportunity to showcase that to an organization. When there's the thing, like, if there is a role up there that you want and you haven't really been seeing the results that you think that you should, I'll say this first. And then Vanessa, I really don't know all the details. So this is me giving you a vague answer, right? So for one, we are in a tough job market. And I know that this tough job market it can breed self-doubt if you're not aware of that. Meaning, if you're not understanding that the market is a lot more competitive than what it once was, and you may not be receiving the bites like you thought you would have. It's just because there's a lot more other people to choose from. So don't think that it may necessarily be on you. But also, you have to realize that if you are in a search, and because it's just not about having the right skills, it's about you being able to express the value of your skills and how it relates to them. And this is why when people are in a job search, I actually suggest that you get clear, not just on a job title, right? Because you don't want to box yourself in, but get clear on what is the kind of role that you want to pursue. Like, what is the problem that you're solving with your skill set? Because you need to be able to brand yourself around something. Like, you being this jack of all trades, right? In this market is going to be it is competitive, right? And so you will struggle being able to see the results you want to, being a jack of all trade. Because in my experience, I was in HR for over 10 years. They want to be able to look at you and see not all your experience and your skills and everything you did. They only care about, how does your expertise serve us? How does your expertise solve the problems that we have? Right. And so, you can only really get clear on that and get really good at being able to express that when you've gotten clear on, what is it that this role really needs? And am I doing a good job of being able to express the value of that? So if you're in a job search and, the first thing they see is your resume, right? They shouldn't have to, Vanessa, this is just an example. I don't know what yours look like, but they should not have to dig through your resume and try to squint and see how it should be automatically clear how your expertise will solve the problems and the issues they have in that role. It should be clear, right? Meaning, so if you're not being able to get any callbacks, look at your resume, right? If you are able to get callbacks, but you're not able to land the job, it's how you are talking about your expertise, right? So again, if you're in a job search and you are not able to get any callbacks, it's your resume / job search strategies, meaning that you may just need to get some more diverse strategies, right? 2 is, if you are able to get callbacks, right, and you're not able to land the job, it's how you are speaking about your expertise, right? And so, especially with people that have like a really diverse background and skill set, like you feel like, girl, I can do everything. You probably can, but they don't care about everything. They care about, how are you able to solve our problems with your skill set, and are you able to meet the need that we have? And so it's not just about talking about what you can do, it's you being able to talk about what you can do for them. And that can only come through you being extra clear, you being able to get to know that role like the back of your hand, being able to know what is it that role does each day, being able to understand what is the problems that role solve, and also being able to understand what part of the success does that role play. So that's about you. It could just be that you could very well have all the experience that's needed, but you may need to just deep dive a little bit more into that position and start really saying, do I know this role like the back of my hand? And so when you know the role like the back of your hand, which is why a lot of people would just skim through a job description. I'm like, friend, why are we skimming through job descriptions? The job description telling you exactly what they need, and folks will literally just go da da da. Because that pay up, that's the only thing that folks will look for, is that pay, boy. That's all they want to know about, that pay, right? But it's like, you have to be able to really know that job role. And the more that you know it, the more that you know the ins and the out of that job position, the easier you'll be able to speak to how your experience will meet that role. I have learned to job search by skills and not by job title. Absolutely. When you guys are on job boards, do not go in that job board and put in a job title. You need to be searching by skill, because jobs have all kinds of job title names, and there's a lot of jobs out there that you don't even know about that would be perfect for your skill set. So you need to first of all get clear on what is the core skills that you want to use in this job search, right? And you also want to be really clear on, what are the skills that's needed for that role. A lot of people will talk themselves out of position saying, I don't have enough experience because I don't meet this thing. Well, how do you know what is the full scope of the job? that one thing that you feel like you don't have, that can only be 5% of the whole job. So you've already told yourself no over a task or a skill that is only in 5% of the whole job scope. But what the job needs, all of the strengths, all of the main functions of the job, your skills match perfectly. So that's why when you make decisions, you have to make decisions based upon real information and not assumptions, and not how you feel. And to pivot off of Vanessa's, how to move forward afterwards, especially if staying at that company. Carla, let's see if I explain this. And to pivot off of Vanessa, how to move forward afterwards. Okay, so but Carla, I think you're saying like if you apply for a role inside of the job that you have now and you don't get talk, and if you don't get the job, how to go forward. I think that's what you're saying. But if that's the question, I mean, it's just about, for one, if you don't get the job that you wanted, right? At your current job, make sure that you got extra detailed feedback. Like make sure that you know exactly why you did not get the job. Get the feedback from there, right? Because there are some environments where people are just biased. There are some environments where people may not like you that much, right? It has nothing to do with your experience. There are sometimes when you do your, how can I say it? There are sometimes when you do your job so well that they don't want to lose you in that spot. So they're not necessarily thinking about your growth. They're thinking about them. And in environments like that, like you can't outwork that. So how you move forward is, for one, being able to get the information that you need to make sure, okay, what are the gaps? Like what was it exactly? And don't let them give you no vague stuff either, right? Say, are you able to share with me exactly the gaps that I have or the weaknesses that is stopping me from being able to obtain this role? And ask for that. Right? Because now if you have a really clear idea of what is it that you need, like what gaps need to be filled, when you go back again for that role, you need to be in expectation of that role, right? Meaning that I have worked on this, right? And so that's a way to make sure that you are in a place, again, to where you are able to fill those gaps, but also you can hold them accountable to something, right? Don't let them just brush you off. And if they keep brushing you off, you know what you need to do, right? And so, if you're not able to get the advancement, that's something that you need to like really look into and take seriously, because you don't want to wait around a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years waiting for them to approve you for something. Because you need to know what is the reasons, like what is this based upon, and if their decision to not advance you is based upon something out of your control, it's time to start seeking other opportunities. How do you own it when recommended for a role that you have no experience in? So because you being confident in something, that don't need to come from what you already done. And I know that's going to sound crazy, right? Meaning that if you are in a place in your career where you do want to, do something new or whatever, in that time, the confidence needs to be that I have the power, the talents, and the skills to figure it out. So if you are in a position to where you have to own something and you don't feel like, I don't have anything yet to stand on, I don't have the experience to stand on, don't stand on your past experience. Stand on, I got the power to figure this thing out, right? And so allow that to make you feel sure in that. Is that the same way that these other 8,000 people have learned how to do this position, I can too. And also, if you want to kind of hang on to a past experience, don't hang on to an experience that's related to the skills for that role. Hang on to the experience that I've been able to overcome everything that I've faced up until this point, right? Because I'm pretty sure there are other areas in your life where you didn't know all the answers, but guess what? You got all the answers, and guess what? You end up thriving. So in situations like that, you definitely want to be able to stand on the fact that I may not know now, but I got the power to find out. So yeah, this is some good questions. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I do have a consultation coming up, guys. So again, remember that I do go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, if you want to catch any of my replays, you can go on my channel on YouTube and go subscribe. Make sure you guys are subscribed on my channel. You guys go ahead and like this live stream. Go ahead and share it with your friends. And so again, if you want to catch this replay, you can on YouTube. You can find me at I am Alicia Perkins. If you want to work with me one-to-one, let's talk. And also, if you want to work with me in my group, you are able to enroll. Now we actually have a group call this evening. So if you want to be able to chat with me even more and get direct strategies and help for the issues in your career that you are facing right now, we actually have a group call this evening. And so if you have any questions or if you want to work with me one-to-one, let's chat, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.